The monster, driven by Frankenstein. The monster is the undisputed centerpiece of the original Death Race, not because it is the fastest machine on the track, but because it is the most carefully engineered symbol. Officially known as the Shala Vette and often referred to as the lizard or alligator car, it is designed to look less like a vehicle and more like a living predator. The exaggerated reptilian bodywork, complete with jagged fangs, heavy scales, and an extended tail blade, exists to create fear before the engine even starts. This is psychological warfare disguised as motorsport. Beneath the theatrical shell, the mechanical foundation is surprisingly modest. The monster is built on a Volkswagen chassis and powered by a Corvair flat 6 engine. That simplicity is not a flaw. It is part of the illusion. Death Race does not reward engineering purity or mechanical innovation. It rewards spectacle. By wrapping an ordinary platform in extraordinary visuals, the race turns Frankenstein into a myth rather than a man. The audience does not care what powers the car, they care what it represents. The monster is also a reflection of Frankenstein himself. He is presented not as a driver, but as a symbol of state-controlled heroism. His car reinforces that role perfectly. It does not look human. It does not feel relatable, it feels inevitable. The reptile theme suggests cold-blooded efficiency, survival instinct, and emotional detachment. This is not a champion who races for glory. This is an instrument of control designed to reassure the public that the system works. In Death Race, perception matters more than reality. The monster succeeds because it convinces the audience that Frankenstein cannot be defeated. The car is propaganda made of fiberglass and steel, engineered to inspire awe, fear, and unquestioning loyalty. Machine Gun Joe's car, driven by Machine Gun Joe Viterbo. Machine Gun Joe's car exists in direct contrast to Frankenstein's monster. Where Frankenstein is mythologized, Joe is openly aggressive and unapologetically violent. His vehicle abandons fantasy creature design in favor of raw intimidation. The gangster-inspired styling makes the car feel like a weaponized extension of organized crime rather than a piece of entertainment. The defining characteristic of Joe's car is its reinforced front end. Heavy bumpers, ramming bars, and structural armor turn the nose into a blunt force instrument. This is not a vehicle built for elegant racing lines or clever maneuvering. It is built to smash through opposition. Mounted machine guns complete the picture, ensuring that violence is always visible and always escalating. Joe's car does not hide what it is meant to do. The weapons are exposed. The armor looks industrial and utilitarian. This transparency is part of its threat. Unlike Frankenstein's monster, which cloaks its violence in symbolism, Joe's machine embraces brutality without metaphor. It feels less like science fiction and more like legalized street warfare. The design perfectly matches Joe's personality. He is ambitious, volatile, and driven by ego. His car mirrors that mindset. Speed only matters if it leads directly into impact. Handling is secondary to destruction. Every modification pushes the car further toward chaos. In the world of Death Race, this approach is not only tolerated, it is rewarded with attention and fear. Joe's vehicle also reveals the moral contradiction at the heart of the race. Frankenstein is framed as a hero. Joe is framed as a villain. Yet their actions are equally destructive. The difference lies entirely in presentation. Joe's car strips away the comforting myth and exposes the violence for what it is. That honesty makes him dangerous, not because he kills more, but because he refuses to pretend. The Bull, driven by Calamity Jane. The Bull, sometimes called the Dust Bull, is one of the most emotionally charged vehicles in Death Race. Driven by Calamity Jane, it channels rage rather than intimidation or spectacle. Built on a Manta Mirage kit car using a Volkswagen chassis, the Bull is smaller and lighter than many of its competitors, but no less aggressive. The horned front end defines the car's identity. The angry eyes, flared snout, and exaggerated horns transform it into a charging animal frozen in perpetual fury. Unlike Frankenstein's monster, which feels calculating and controlled, the bull feels impulsive and explosive. It looks like it exists solely to attack whatever stands in its way. This design aligns perfectly with Calamity Jane's character. She thrives on confrontation and instability. Her driving style favors aggression over strategy, and the bull supports that approach. The lightweight kit car foundation provides agility and responsiveness, allowing her to weave through chaos and strike when opportunities appear. The horns are not decorative, they frame the car's purpose. Close-range violence delivered without hesitation. The bull's rough, almost handmade appearance gives it a raw authenticity. It lacks the polished theatricality of Frankenstein's monster and the militarized menace of Machine Gun Joe's car. That roughness becomes a statement. It suggests a racer who relies on nerve, speed, and emotion rather than myth or firepower. Within the death race lineup, the bull represents unfiltered aggression. It is not ideological, it is not symbolic, it is simply angry. That simplicity makes it memorable. In a race filled with propaganda and spectacle, the bull feels honest in its violence. The Buzzbomb, driven by Matilda the Hun. The Buzzbomb is the most unsettling vehicle in the original death race. Modeled after the Nazi 5-1 flying bomb, it turns real-world historical trauma into entertainment. The design is intentionally provocative, forcing the audience to confront how far the race is willing to go in pursuit of shock value. Built on a Volkswagen Karmann Ghia, the Buzzbomb's smooth, rounded body provides an eerily perfect base for the missile-inspired styling. The elongated nose, fins, and military markings transform a once elegant car into a rolling symbol of mechanized death. It feels less like a racer and more like a weapon that escaped a battlefield. From a performance perspective, the Buzzbomb is not dominant. Its impact is psychological rather than mechanical. The car exists to provoke reaction rather than win races. Every appearance reinforces the idea that nothing is sacred in the world of Death Race. Even the symbols of humanity's darkest moments can be stripped of meaning and repackaged for applause. The Buzzbomb exposes Death Race as propaganda disguised as sport. By turning fascist imagery into spectacle, the race erases history and consequence. That erasure is what makes the Buzzbomb so disturbing. It is not celebrating horror, it is consuming it. The Gladiator, driven by Nero the hero. The Gladiator completes the thematic circle of Death Race by reaching back into ancient history. Nero the hero's Roman-inspired vehicle transforms the race into a modern Colosseum. Blades, shields, and classical motifs frame the car as a chariot reborn in steel and gasoline. This design emphasizes ritualized violence. Gladiators fought not just to survive, but to entertain crowds within a brutal system. The Gladiator car reflects that legacy directly. It is ceremonial, aggressive, and unapologetically theatrical. The exposed blades turn proximity into punishment, encouraging constant engagement. The vehicle's power lies in its presence. Like Frankenstein's monster, it is instantly recognizable. The Roman imagery elevates Nero into a mythic role, casting him as both entertainer and executioner. His car reinforces the idea that Death Race is not about winning. It is about performance. Mechanically, the Gladiator is built for close combat. The blades are designed to shred tires, tear bodywork, and reward aggressive tactics. This car does not avoid danger. It seeks it out. Every design choice pushes the driver toward collision and confrontation. The Gladiator also serves as a reminder that Death Race is not a new invention. The machines change, but the spectacle remains the same. Ancient Rome and dystopian futures share a common appetite. Violence, when framed as entertainment, becomes acceptable. The Gladiator makes that connection impossible to ignore. From Frankenstein's monstrous propaganda machine to Machine Gun Joe's blunt instrument of organized violence, from the raw fury of the bull to the disturbing satire of the Buzzbomb and the ritualized brutality of the Gladiator, Every vehicle in the original Death Race represents a different philosophy of control, spectacle, and identity. These are not just cars built to race. They are machines designed to shape narratives, reinforce myths, and keep audiences cheering while destruction unfolds. So that's our full breakdown. Now I want to hear from you. Which car do you think best captured the twisted spirit of the race? And which one made you pause when you realized what it truly represented beneath the metal and weapons? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this breakdown of movie vehicles and the ideas behind them, hit subscribe and turn on notifications so you do not miss the next one. More movie and series car breakdowns are coming soon. See you in the next video.